Hi everyone, it's Cheryl here from Love and Light Yoga. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and for joining me for your everyday full body stretch yoga flow. You won't need anything for this, just yourself and your mat, and whenever you are ready, let's begin. So we are going to begin in a seated position today, just coming into a comfortable seated position on your mat. You can be cross-legged, you can have the legs out long, whatever feels best for your body in this moment. Just let the hands come onto the knees or the thighs, let the shoulders begin to soften, let the spine sit nice and long, and then just take a second to close the eyes here. Just beginning to take a moment to check in with our breath. Check in how we're breathing. If the breath is slow or fast-paced. Whether we are breathing fully and deeply, or is the breath quite shallow in the chest. And then just gently lengthening out the breath. Focusing on taking deeper inhales and longer exhales. And then maybe starting to bring a little bit of movement in through our neck and our upper body. So we can either keep the eyes closed here, or we can open up the eyes. And we're just going to tuck the chin in towards the chest. So nothing else is moving, the only movement coming from the neck. Starting to feel a bit of an opening through the very back of the neck here. Keep the spine long, the shoulders soft. And then maybe begin to send this into a few little half neck circles. So just rock one ear to one shoulder, and then come back through center, take it across to the other side. Just taking your time here. Working out any areas of tightness in the neck, any little knots, any little kinks in the neck. Just rolling the head side to side, nice and slowly, taking your time. Nice, and then the next time that we have the right ear towards the right shoulder, we're going to stop and we're going to hold here just for a couple of breaths. So keep the shoulders here nice and soft, let your head hang heavy off to the right side. Just feeling that bit of a deeper opening through the left hand side of your neck, depending on how tight you are. You maybe start to feel this in through the upper back, maybe in through the arm. And if we want to take this into a deeper stretch, just for our last couple of breaths, we're going to take the left hand, take it behind the back, and just let the hand come either onto the low back, or maybe starting to walk the hand further up the back, up towards the midline. Just rolling that left shoulder back, keeping the head heavy here, deepening the stretch. Just for a few more breaths. And then we can release the arm, bring it back onto the knee, pick the head back up through center, and same thing other side. Just let it fall down towards the left. Again, keep the head nice and heavy, the shoulders are soft, spine is long. Just feeling that deeper opening through the side of the neck. You will very quickly begin to notice if this is your tight side or maybe your slightly looser side. And if we want to, again, increase this stretch a bit, we can take the right hand, just take it out behind the back, maybe take the back of the hand to the lower back, or maybe start to walk the hand a bit further up. Rolling the right shoulder back, opening up through the chest. Keep releasing the left ear towards the left shoulder. Taking one more breath here in your own time. And then releasing the right hand back to the knee, picking the head back up through center. And this time we're going to bring both hands out behind the back. So we swim the hands out behind the back, and we can do one of a few different things here. So if we have the hands behind the back, we might be working on getting that clasp of the fingers. If we have the clasp of the fingers, we start to draw the palms of the hands together. We start to roll the shoulders back, bring the shoulder blades together at your back body. Start to work the hands down towards the floor, and then maybe start to lift the hands away from our body. So breathing here at whatever stage you are at, it doesn't matter. What we want to think about creating here is this big opening for the chest. So we're feeling nice and broad through the front of the body, through the shoulders. The shoulders are rolling back. We're feeling a stretch in through the arms and through the upper back. Keep the breath nice and calm here. Let's take one more big inhale. One full exhale. And then release the hands down and bring them back onto the knees. If you are cross-legged and the legs are getting a little bit pins and needly, or we need to change position, feel free to change the cross of the legs at this point, or not. If you're feeling good, that's fine. And we're just going to release the hands down by our sides here. We're going to stay on fingertips, and we're going to inhale to reach the right hand up towards the sky. As we exhale, we're going to send it over into a bit of a side bend here. So we start to lengthen out through the right hand side of our bodies. We start to feel a big stretch all the way from our right hip, coming up through the waist, up through the armpit, into the arm. We just hold here and we send a few breaths into the body. Keeping the chest open and lifted. Maybe starting to bend through the left elbow. If we start to create a little bit more space in the body, we might walk the left fingertips out. We might start to bend the elbow, maybe even come down onto the elbow. Just keep those top fingertips reaching forward, reaching across to the side of the room. Let's take one more big inhale here. Full exhale. And then slowly come up through center, take the right hand onto the floor, and this time we inhale to reach the left hand up high. Take another big inhale at the top, and as we exhale, we come into our side bend. So reach those top fingertips off towards the opposite side of the room, opening up through the left hand side of the body this time, all the way from your left hip. Stretch reaching up through the waist, through the rib cage, through the armpit, into the arm. Keep the arm long and active. Keep the chest open. And if we start to create a little bit of space in the body, we might walk those right fingertips further away. We might start to bend into the elbow here. Just do what feels right for you in this moment. We take one more big inhale, one full exhale, and then gently come all the way back up through center, drop the arms. Just take a few little rolls of the shoulders, nothing fancy, just inviting a little bit of movement and a little bit of blood flow back into the arms. And then come back to stillness. From here, we're going to release the legs out now. So we've been in cross-legged for a bit, so reaching the legs out long should feel quite nice for the hamstrings. And we're just going to come into an upright position. So we want to stay nice and tall through the spine. We want to have the legs out nice and long. And it's up to you whether you want to have the knees completely straight or whether we want to keep a nice bend in through the knees. So if having a bend in through the knees allows you to sit up a little bit taller through the spine, then take that bend. If we can maintain this length through the spine with the knees straight, we can take the knees straight. But let's just go for a nice forward fold here. We're going to bring the hands either side of our legs onto fingertips. We inhale to sit nice and tall with the spine, crown of the head reaching high. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to walk the fingertips down either side of the legs. Start to lower the upper body down. It's almost like we were trying to bring our belly down onto the thighs here. And then once you're met with a little bit of resistance in your body, that's your cue to stop and to let go. So just release the upper body here, trying not to hold on or grip on through any muscles. We're feeling a deep stretch through both hamstrings, an opening in the lower back, stretching out the spine. Keep your breath full here. So stick with those nice deep inhales and exhales. Think about every inhale reaching the crown of your head a little bit further forward. Every exhale we drop our upper body a little bit lower. We're here for a few more breaths, so relax into this as much as you can. Start to allow gravity to take over, feeling the weight of your upper body being pulled down over the legs. We're not actively trying to take the body down, just letting gravity do the work. Letting your head be heavy. Holding no tension in your neck or your shoulders. Relaxing the backs of the legs, the thighs. Take a few breaths here. Notice if the body starts to naturally lower, starts to naturally soften into this pose. Let's take one more full breath here in your own time. A big inhale and exhale. And then slowly we can release by lifting the gaze, starting to walk our fingertips back towards our hips. Nice, we're going to bend the knees, bring them in. We're going to cross the legs here, and then we're going to roll forwards with the hands on the floor. We're going to meet in our tabletop position. So coming onto our hands and our knees in our tabletop, we want to get ourselves nice and comfortable here, situated. We want to have our wrists underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath of our hips. And we're just going to flow through a few cat-cows here. So as we inhale, we're going to look forward, open up the chest, point the tailbone high. And as we exhale, chin tucks into the chest. We press the mat away. We arch through the shoulder blades. As we inhale, we roll the spine forward, open the chest, belly drops. As we exhale, chin to chest, we pull the belly button back towards the spine. Inhale, we roll forwards, and exhale, we roll everything under. So just keep breathing here and allow your breath to be your guide as to how quickly we want to move. Inhaling, rolling forwards, exhaling to roll under. And focus on that stretch for the spine. So we want to be feeling a big stretch here, all the way from the neck, right down to the tailbone. Rolling the spine out as much as we can, feeling that stretch through the shoulders, through the low back. Nice, taking a few more here in your own time. And then after your next full exhale, we can return back into our tabletop with our nice neutral spine. And from here, we are going to find a low lunge. So we will start with the left leg, before we do anything at all, we're just going to slightly engage through the core. So pull the belly button back towards the spine, feel the core begin to engage, get nice and strong through the arms, palms pressing into the mat. And then we're going to see if we can start to lift the left leg and stretch the toes away. So we might have the leg lifted just a little bit, we may have it lifted up in line with our hip, it doesn't really matter. We're just going to hold it here, reaching the toes away, stretching out through that leg for one nice big inhale and a full exhale. Nice, and then take your gaze down in between your hands and we're going to bend through the left leg, we're going to step the foot up and in between our hands. We're going to shift our hips slightly forward, keep that knee over the top of your ankle, and we're going to find our low lunge. It's up to you whether we want to have the hands on the floor, or maybe if we're feeling a little bit stronger, we might start to lift up. We might bring the hands into prayer position in front of our chest, or we might inhale to reach both hands up towards the sky. Nice. We are breathing deeply here. We're feeling a big stretch in through the very front of the right hip. We're leaning into that left hip here. We're going to keep the ankle underneath the knee. Let the hips be heavy. Let the pelvis press down towards the mat. For one big inhale and one full exhale. Nice, and then we're going to challenge our balance a little bit here. We're going to see if we can start to tuck the back toes under, and then can we power up through the legs, lift the back knee off the floor into your high lunge. Nice, we keep the arms lifted here if they're lifted. We might keep them in front of our chest if the arms are getting tired. We're in our high lunge here for one big breath. Nice, let's take one more big inhale here, and then as we exhale we warrior two. So let's spin the back toes open, spin the hips open towards the side, and let the arms fall down to shoulder height. Keep that bend in through the front knee and take your gaze out over your front hand. Nice, can we send the arms a little bit further back so that we're nice and open through the chest? Can we maybe sit a little bit lower in through that front knee? Warrior two. On your next inhale, we're going to straighten out through the front leg and we're going to find our triangle pose. So keep the arms at shoulder height here. We're going to start to lean forward. So it's almost like we're reaching towards the front of our mat. Both of our legs are stuck. They're not going to move. The knees are not going to bend. When we can't reach anymore, we're going to drop the front hand down onto maybe the thigh, maybe the shin, maybe it's the floor, and we're going to reach the back hand up towards the sky. Stacking your right shoulder on top of your left shoulder, keeping the chest open, feeling this stretch. This is a bit of an all over body stretch, so you're going to feel this everywhere. You're going to feel it through the hamstrings, through the thighs, through the hips, the arms, everywhere. Take the gaze up towards the top hand if you can for one big inhale, one full exhale, and then we're going to start to lift ourselves all the way back into our warrior two. Take that bend in through the front knee, and then let's windmill the arms over, coming back into our high lunge, coming back onto the tippy toes on the back foot. Drop the back knee, and then step the left knee back to meet the right. Let's take a child's pose here. So toes come together, knees come apart. Sit the bum back towards the heels and stretch the arms long. Take your forehead onto the mat or onto the top of the hands. Release your chest down towards the floor. Take a breather here. Your child's pose should be somewhere that you can begin to relax a little bit, to catch the breath. It should almost feel a little bit like a reset button. So reconnect to the breath, reconnect to the body, and take our last few breaths here. And then after your next exhale, we can release out of our child's pose. We can lift the gaze, and we're all going to meet back in our tabletop on our hands and our knees. So returning into your tabletop with the wrists under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. We're going to find that same little sequence on the other side. So this time it's the right leg. We're going to get nice and strong through the arms, engaged through the core, and then we're going to see if we can start to stretch that right leg out long and stretch it away. We might lift it a little bit off the floor, we might lift it up in line with our hip, but can we point the toes away and can we stretch that leg as long as it can be? So we imagine that someone is behind us and they're pulling our toes towards the back of the room, getting that stretch. Take one big inhale, and then as we exhale, we're going to bend that knee, we're going to step the foot up and in between the hands, coming into your low lunge. So again, we want to be mindful that we have the ankle underneath the knee. We want to decide whether we want to keep the hands on the floor here. Maybe we want to lift up, bring the hands into prayer position in front of the chest. Or maybe if we're feeling a little bit more energetic, we might inhale to reach the fingertips up towards the sky, keeping the arms strong, keeping the chest open, taking a few breaths here. So this time feeling that stretch in through the very front of the left hip flexor, sinking the pelvis down towards the mat, feeling that stretch, arms reaching high, staying long through the sides of the waist. Take one more breath here in your own time. And then can we challenge our balance on this side? So we're going to see if we can start to tuck the back toes under. As we inhale, we can lift ourselves up, straightening out through that back leg, keeping a nice deep bend in through the front knee. We're in our high lunge. If the arms are getting tired, feel free to bring them down in front of the chest or maybe onto the hips. Otherwise, we're here, we're reaching tall. We might sit a little bit deeper into that front knee. Take one big inhale here. And then as we exhale, we warrior to other side. So let's spin the back toes open. Let's reach our arms out. Keep them at shoulder distance. Keep the gaze over the front hand. Stay nice and strong through both legs. Chest is open. Can we maybe send those arms a little bit further back so we broaden out through the front of the chest for one big inhale and one full exhale. Nice. As we inhale, we're going to unbend the front leg. So we're straightening out the front leg. We're going to find our triangle here. So keep the arms reaching out, keep them at shoulder height. We're going to start to hinge forward so the legs stay straight. We reach with the front arm. When we can't reach anymore, we're going to drop that right hand either onto the thigh, the shin, the floor, and we reach the back hand up towards the sky. Staying nice and open here. Your triangle might be here, we might be here. We might be here, wherever we are. We're reaching high with the left hand, the chest is open, the shoulders are stacked. Feeling this stretch everywhere within the body. If we can we take our gaze up towards the top hand for one big inhale, one full exhale. And then returning back to your warrior two. So we lift the hands, we bend through the front knee one last time into your warrior two. One more breath here. And then can we windmill the arms over, framing the front foot? Can we drop the back knee? And can we step the right knee back to meet the left? Nice. Either come back here for another child's pose or for a puppy pose. If you want to come with me, we are going to drop down onto the elbows here, onto the forearms, and we're going to keep the hips high and over the knees. We might stay here, Or we might start to melt the chest down towards the floor. We might start to walk our fingertips forward, stretching our arms out long. Maybe bringing the forehead onto the mat. Breathing here, opening up through the upper back. And if the upper back starts to feel quite open, and we want to take this stretch just a little bit further, we might take the chin onto the floor, take the gaze towards your fingertips. A few breaths here. And then after your next exhale, whichever position you are in, whether you're in child's pose or your puppy pose, we're going to slowly begin to release. We're going to walk the hands back towards the knees. We're going to sit the bum back onto the heels and come into this more of an upright position. From here, we're going to swing the legs forwards and we're going to come to lie down on our mats. So just bring yourself all the way down onto your back. When we get there, we just bring the knees in towards the chest. We can take hold of maybe the fronts of the knees or maybe behind the knees. And just take a little rock from side to side. Rounding out the spine. Massaging out the lower back. Catching the breath and allowing the breath to begin to slow down. Let's come back to center. Drop the soles of the feet down onto the floor and keep the knees bent up. And we're going to walk the feet about the width of the mat, so a little bit wider than your hips. We can either keep the hands down either side of the body, or we can reach the hands up and behind the head. We're just going to windshield wiper the knees from side to side here. Just letting them fall towards the right and then towards the left. Not doing anything fancy, not being too forceful, not trying to force the legs down or nothing like that. Just keeping this movement nice and soft, really simple. Releasing tension out of the thighs, out of the low back. And then coming back to center with the legs back to stillness. If at this point you wish to take a Shavasana or a meditation, you can stretch both legs out long. You can bring the hands down by the sides of the body and you can close the eyes. I will link a little meditation for anyone that wishes to take their relaxation at this point. But if you have to maybe get up and go about the rest of your day, feel free to gently roll yourself onto one side and press yourself up into a comfortable seated position on your mat. And take one nice full breath, a deep inhale and a full exhale. And then whenever you are ready, you can open up the eyes. And namaste, everybody. Thank you so much for practicing with me. If you like this video, please like. If you would like to see more like this, please subscribe. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Once again, namaste.